May all beings be happy. May all beings be healthy. May all beings be free from harm. May all beings love life. May all beings awaken. Welcome to another Cuke Audio podcast. I'm DC, Poobah of Cuke Audio and Cuke Archives, doing our bit to help preserve the legacy of Shunryu Suzuki and those whose paths cross his, and anything else that comes to mind. I pray that you and yours are safe and comfortable, free from economic hardship, and able to get out and do whatever it is you want within the limitations of the universal precept of do as little harm as possible. So today I'm going to just have a little brief podcast focusing on the Heart Sutra. Now, the Heart Sutra is the central scripture, it seems, of Zen Buddhism and of a lot of Buddhism, a lot of Mahayana Buddhism. So, first I want to tell you something about visiting Yamanaka-san again. You might remember he was a neighbor who was Japanese, and he was very independent and, older man, and took care of in front of his house and everything. And anyway, he had a fall, and he had other problems, and he was in a convalescent home, and I found out where he was and went and visited him, and I talked to him, and a little Japanese, mainly Indonesian, and this was a place that had all Japanese. Oh, it was like a Japanese retirement home. And the help of the nurse there spoke Japanese. I mean, he spoke, they just told me he'd lost a lot of his Indonesian. But I can hardly remember any Japanese. And, if I try, the Indonesian words start coming out. But we didn't have to talk much, so it worked. So anyway, I found out he was... we were talking, it was a little hard. He had a hard time hearing. But I asked him what religion he was and found out he was Soto-shu. And I said, well, I'm Soto-shu too. And I gave him the book, Zen is Right Here in Japanese, Zen wa Ima Koko. And which is Teaching Stories and Anecdotes of Shunryu Suzuki. And then I asked him if he'd like to hear the Heart Sutra, and I pulled it up. I asked ChatGPT to give me a Romanized version that was, very simple and easy to chant. He got it and chanted it, and he was just so happy. I mean, I was just extremely touched. And, I arranged with this nurse that I'd call and chant. And I did that once about a month later, and I felt it didn't go over so well. And, a few months passed, and I sort of felt bad I hadn't done anything about him. And so I was going to Ubud on Friday to see my oldest, dearest, bestest Japanese friends in Japan. Two American guys who married Japanese women, and I've known them since I first went there in '88, and they come every year here. Anyway, and we get together when they do. They come here and buy things and for antiques and crafts and stuff to sell in America. So anyway, so I got home. The nurse I worked with wasn't there anymore, and I guess I'd gotten hold of her a month before that. I didn't know what to do. But I got hold of the woman, the head doctor, and she said, yeah, he's still there, and he's, doing all right, doing about the same. And so I said, is it okay that I come on Friday at 3 o'clock? And she said, yeah, well, okay, we'll expect you. And so went there Friday at 3 o'clock, and I went in and said hello to him and everything. And I said, you remember I chanted the Heart Sutra last time? He said, oh, yes, yes. I said, would you like to hear the Heart Sutra being chanted by monks at Eiheiji? and he said, yes, and so I have the whole Eiheiji, Way of Eiheiji record, all the audio on Kook.com that Elsie Mitchell recorded in 1959. And so what I did is I took the first of four. It's two albums, two records, two-sided, 4 sides. I took the first one, which has the morning service. It's just 21 minutes, so it's maybe the morning service in the Buddha Hall and before they go on to another place to chant. And it has the Heart Sutra in it, so I'd taken the Heart Sutra out, and I also recorded the whole thing. So I had a recording of each one of them, and I had a Bluetooth speaker. So I opened my computer up, and, I put on the Heart Sutra. It preceded by bells. And so I tried to chant along with it. It's been a while, but very softly. And he did too, and he just kept his hands in Gasho. And when that was over, I explained that's part of the morning service at Eiheiji. Would you like, incidentally, if you don't know what Eiheiji is, it's like one of the two great training temples for Soto Zen in Japan. It's the temple that Dogen, the founder of Soto Zen, founded in Fukui Prefecture. Sokoji is the other. Daihonzan, great Daihonzan, great root mountain. So he said, yeah, he'd like to. So we then listened to the whole morning service. And afterwards, I asked the nurse to come in, and we exchanged WhatsApp numbers. And I was wearing my rakusu, so I showed him that. I showed him the kanji on back. And anyway, it was so much better playing him the Heart Sutra being chanted by Japanese. Can you imagine how weird it must be to have this neighbor of yours come chant the Heart Sutra with, not the sort of pronunciation or whatever that you're used to? And, to be able to hear it from Eiheiji, the whole time he's just like so reverently with his hands in Gasho. It was, very touching. So I think what I want to do next is send him. I have the Japanese crooked cucumber. I'm going to give him that. And he doesn't have any earplugs. I'm going to send him some earplugs for his Android. And then, I'll see if I can get some help from them in making it where he can listen to it over his Android, smartphone. That might work. Anyway, so that was a very, very touching experience. And, it's a little painful too, because I realized how important that was to him and how helpful, and how, a little of that sort of thing that I do. I've done some, but how much there is to do, and how many people are alone, and, it's, so that goes back to the, in my mind, I think of, To Shine One Corner of the World, which was the original title of Zen Is Right Here when Broadway put it out, which was an imprint of Random House, really. They buy each other up, so the names changed. And To Shine One Corner of the World, it's really, what is it? Is it Shingon? It's really not associated with Zen. It might be what Kukai made famous or something. I remember Peter Schneider, Peter, hi there, Peter. How's the afterlife? Anyway, Peter thought I shouldn't name it that, and it felt like we were stealing it from them. But, it's universal. The idea to shine one corner of the world means you can't do everything. Just take care of a little corner. And of course, then Suzuki would say, and that includes the entire universe. You save yourself, you save the entire universe. So anyway, I just wanted to mention that experience. And so, what I thought I'd do is I thought I'd take the Heart Sutra that we used to chant at Sokoji and at Tassajara, but we had a card that there were cards you'd hold up that Shunryu Suzuki had made. They had the kanji, and they had the I believe under the kanji they had the romanization, so we could read it and chant it, but it also had the English running along, and it wasn't really Suzuki translating the Heart Sutra. It was him just giving the basic meaning of each word or phrase that goes by, so people would have some idea of what they were chanting. I think it's, what that reminds me of is when interviewing Shunryu Suzuki back in '69. My sister and Bob Halpern and me with him. He said about translating sutras and stuff. He says there's no need to translate them; they have absolutely no meaning. Really. It's on, the interview's on Gook.com. He was something. Okay, so look, I'm going to put this on pause, and I'm going to find that, and I'm going to read to you the I don't know what to call it, the basic meaning. I don't want to say translation, it seems a little pretentious or something. The basic meaning of the words. But, however, I say it's not a translation, but Allen Ginsberg took it and used it to chant with, and chanted all over the world with Suzuki's translation. Incidentally, the Heart Sutra that we chanted in English at Tassajara was done by Peter Schneider looking at translations and basing it on the sort of cadence, the flow of chanting the Sino-Japanese. Sino-Japanese means Chinese-Japanese, because when we chant the Heart Sutra, kanji, zaibo, sachigyo, jinhan, that's not, like contemporary spoken Japanese or even spoken Japanese back then. It's classical, and it's Chinese in form. Now, if you chant the Sandokai, it's in a Japanese form, the word order, and it has the particles are the interconnecting words, like prepositions and stuff like that. The Chinese doesn't have that. It in the same way. It's very, so it really works well for chanting. The Sandokai is a lot harder to chant, but the Sino Japanese chants really well. So Peter thought about the sound, and he thought about it. I remember talking to him when he was making it. That he was tell me what he was doing, like, I don't know, 1968 or something at Tassajara. I don't know when he maybe started doing it in 67. I don't remember when we started chanting in English, but he did it so that it really chanted well in English. It was really, really good. And I was mentioning that to him very recently. I talked to Peter up until, I don't know, a couple of weeks before he died. And he said, he said Gary Snyder had told him he didn't like it as a translation until he heard it chanted. Anyway, okay, let me go find that. It's on Cuke.com. Actually, I've been working with it recently because one of the pieces in the upcoming Tatsahara stories is about a breakthrough experience that Tim Burkett had while chanting the mantra at the end of the Heart Sutra. The mantra at the end of the Heart Sutra in Sino-Japanese is Gyate Gyate Hara Gyate Harasam Gyate Boji Sowaka. And then that's the end of the sutra, but we also say then Hanya Shingyo, sort of gives the name of the Heart Sutra at the end of the chanting the Heart Sutra. So when I was communicating with Tim about that rather recently, he said, Gyate, Gyate, Para, Gyate, Parasam, Gyate. So that, I thought, so I put para in there. And then I started thinking, I went, wait, the para is Sanskrit. If you're going to use Sanskrit, it's not gyate, it's gate. And it's, and we didn't have the Sanskrit. I remember when with the English, at the very end, Peter kept, he went gone, beyond gone, completely beyond something. All hail, Svaha. Svaha. He kept the Sanskrit on Svaha. Well, that was Sowaka. And in the Sino-Japanese. And I thought we didn't have, I don't think we had the Sanskrit cards back then. This is the fall of 1967. We hadn't even been at Tassajara a whole year. So I thought he just doesn't remember it. And so I kept it in the book, just the gyate, gyate, hara, gyate, harasam, gyate. And when he chanted the mantra, he didn't use the bodhisvaha or bodhisowaka. So he just went gyate, gyate, hara, gyate, harasam, gyate. Now, he might say, oh, no, I did paragate, but anyway, that's the sort of, endless little things like that one runs into in writing about things that actually happened. you don't really know exactly what happened. It doesn't matter. It's the spirit that matters. So anyway, let me go find that. So here it is. I'm looking at the card now. It's really beautiful. So nicely done. So the English is a little small, but here it goes. So it starts off, Maka is the name of his Makahanya Haramita Shingyo. So, but I'm not going to read the Sino-Japanese now. I'm just going to read the English. Great Prajna Paramita Sutra. Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva practice deep prajna paramita when perceive 5 skandhas, all empty, relieve every suffering. Shariputra, form not different, emptiness, well, he has from in parentheses, so I'll read that. Emptiness, not, form not different from emptiness. Emptiness not different from form. Form is the emptiness. Emptiness is the form. Sensation, thought, active substance, consciousness also like this. Shariputra, this everything original character, not born, not annihilated, not tainted, not pure, does not increase, does not decrease. Therefore, in emptiness, no form, no sensation, thought, active substance, consciousness, no eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, no color, sound, smell, taste, touch, object, no eye, world of eyes, until we come to also no world of consciousness, no ignorance, also no ignorance, annihilation. All right, so no ignorance, also no ignorance, annihilation, until we come to no old age, death, also no old age, death, annihilation of no suffering, cause of suffering, nirvana, path, no wisdom, also no attainment. Because of no attainment, bodhisattva depends on. Now I'm going to bring up side 2. Prajna paramita, because mind no obstacle, because of no obstacle, no exist fear. Go beyond all topsy-turvy views. Attain nirvana. Past, present, and future, every Buddha depend on prajna paramita. Therefore, attain supreme perfect enlightenment. Therefore, I know prajna paramita is the great holy mantra, the great untainted mantra, the supreme mantra, the incomparable mantra is capable of assuaging all suffering, true, not false. Therefore, he proclaimed Prajnaparamita mantra, and proclaimed mantra says, gone, gone to the other shore, gone, reach, go, enlightenment, accomplish. Hanya Shingyo. So then at the bottom of the card it has the universal echo. Nagawa kuwako no kuo mote amane kuisai ni oyoboshi wared toshoji zatomoni butsudo jo zenkoto. And that is what we pray, this merit with universally all existence pervade, we and sentient being all with Buddhism achieve. Oh, and then he has, in parenthesis below that, a rewording of that. That achieve had this at the end. I see it now. What I pray is that this merit pervade universally, and as Buddhists and all sentient beings, and we Buddhists and all sentient beings achieve Buddhism. And then there's Jiho Sanchi Ishi Hu Shisombu Sa Moko Sa Moko Hoja Horo Mi. And what's that called? I don't know. That's what we all chant. You know, the echo is chanted by the one person, and then we all chant Jiho Sanji, that one. And that he has under that 10 directions, past, present, and future, all Buddhas, the world-honored one, Bodhisattva, great Prajnara Paramita. And one interesting thing about Jiho Sanji, is it's in a different, I know because I used to study this stuff, it's not the same generation of Sino-Japanese as the rest. Because you see how it ends, Moko Hoja Horo Mi? That's the same characters as Makahanya Haramita. Anyway, so that's the chant card. Rather clumsily given to you. The English is small, and I was having to get close to it to read. And so, in conclusion, we will now hear the Heart Sutra chanted at Eiheiji in 1959 as recorded by Elsie Mitchell. And John Mitchell, she and her husband did it together. I never met him, and she was really she was the gung-ho Buddhist one. And when she came back with those recordings with her husband, that was 1959, and Shunryu Suzuki had just recently arrived at Sokoji, and she visited him. That's when they first met. They had a very important relationship. So here we go. Incidentally, you can buy, and this is the Way of Eiheiji, Buddhist ceremony. I think is the name. I'm not looking at it right now. But anyway, the Way of Eiheiji is available for sale at Smithsonian Folkways. You can get a download, or you can get the actual records. You can probably get CDs. I used the bells. I just used the heavy bell. I use it in my podcast. That heavy bell, that's from this album, from Eiheiji. Yes, that's a 66-year-old recording of the big bell in the Buddha Hall at Eiheiji. Or whatever hall they chanted in when it was recorded. They have a number of them. So here we go. So, well, that was wonderful to hear. If you notice, maybe you'll hear some pitter-patter in the background. It might not sound like pitter-patter. It's raining, and the metal, there's a metal roof outside here above the kitchen. We're going to cover it with, it was Katrinka's idea, cover it with reed, which is called here called alang alang. And that'll soften it and also maybe keep the kitchen a little cooler. Incidentally, Katrinka has been in America for 35 days or something. She's coming back on Thursday. So looking forward to that. This has been a Cuke Audio podcast. I'm DC, Poobah of Cuke Audio and Cuke Archives, coming to you from Sleepy Senor with Doggett Bandita, Feline Manis, and soon, dear lovely Katrinka. And we're wishing you and yours and all of us a grand awakening.